Good afternoon, friends from the media, my colleagues from IDFC FIRST Bank, and friends from Hurun. Anas mentioned a very interesting statistic, right? 2000, India's GDP was $500 billion. Today we are at over $4 trillion, which means quarter of a century, 8x the growth on GDP. Right? Today we talk about Viksit Bharat in 2047, right, which is about 22 years away. And let's say, I believe that India is at a stage that we will grow much faster than what we saw in the last 25 years. But even if you were to assume that we grow at the same pace that we saw in the last 25 years, we're talking about a GDP of about $32 trillion in that year. The GDP of US today is $30 trillion. The GDP of China today is about $19 trillion. So you're talking about genuinely a Viksit Bharat, a $32 trillion economy ought to be a developed nation, a Viksit nation, right? So on that note, I'd like to thank Hurun, Anas and team for the wonderful partnership that we've formed over the last 3 years. When we started in 2023 for the first time, we were not sure, how this particular report on India's self-made entrepreneurs will turn out to be. 3 years since then, I think I look back, I reflect back and feel very happy and proud kind of having walked this path. So thank you, Hurun, Anas and team. Yeah, so 3 years in a row, this particular report no longer to me looks like just a ranking of India's top self-made entrepreneurs, right? It is more of a reflection of how India's wealth creation and entrepreneurial ecosystem is changing structurally. And I'll talk about why do I feel that way. India is now today the third largest, as we all know, startup ecosystem after the United States and China. We have more than 100 unicorns, right? When we started in 2023, just 2 years back, the number of unicorns were much, much smaller than this number, right? 100 plus unicorns is something that we didn't envisage 2 years back when we started this initiative. Apart from these 100 unicorns, there are thousands of other enterprises that are shaping the way the Indian entrepreneurial ecosystem will look like a few years from now, who will eventually be part of this list. Even if they're not part of this list, they'll make a significant, meaningful contribution in terms of how the Indian entrepreneurial ecosystem will shape. Earlier in traditional businesses, what took 2-3 generations of value creation, 2-3 generations of effort to create a certain value for a business. Today's businesses are surprisingly and very positively achieving that in maybe less than a decade, some businesses, right? And that to my mind is an indication of becoming a nation of not just inherited wealth, but a nation of created wealth. Right? And that's where we are moving towards. When you speak to VCs and when you speak to private equity institutions, they tell you one startling difference that they find from, in their interactions with entrepreneurs, let's say, who kickstarted businesses in more traditional environments many decades back to today. And that big differentiation is that founders today no longer just make a business pitch, okay? Founders today typically make a problem-solving pitch, right? They identify a pain area, a problem, and they pitch their businesses to solve those problems, real-world problems. And to my mind, when your business idea is to solve a real-world problem, you don't just scale exponentially, you start creating newer markets that never really existed, and that is what we are seeing with India's new age entrepreneurial ecosystem. It's creating newer markets and not just scaling the existing markets. Another big differentiation, even from our 2 years of journey, when you look at the list and when Anas and team share the list with us, we go through it, we look for insights and trends in the list from the report. And one big difference that we see, apart from, I'm sure, one difference that's running in your heads is the number of listed startups today as compared to what it was 2 years back. But apart from that, one big difference that we see is in the maturity of the ambition of these enterprises. Right? When I say maturity, what I mean is that today they're no longer just looking to scale exponentially and look at revenue growth and profitability exponentially, but they are looking at profitability through the lens of governance, through the lens of sensible capital allocation and long-term sustainability, and not just blind aggressive growth that probably we could have pointed out in a few startups many years back. That's not the case today, right? And that's why you're seeing a lot of these startups listing and more of these new age enterprises listing in the years to come. IDFC has been a proud partner with Hurun, and we feel that this partnership will continue for many years to come. And IDFC as an institution feels it's our responsibility to kind of be a part of this growing entrepreneur ecosystem, new age entrepreneurial ecosystem of India. And as an institution, what we believe where we can partner with these enterprises and founders is largely in building their businesses, managing their personal wealth, diversifying risk, because most of these entrepreneurs and businesses, they know how to allocate capital, manage risk in their businesses, but when it comes to personal wealth creation, we would love to partner with them, and creating obviously enduring legacies. And looking ahead, I think India is poised to create many more large enterprises, new age, first generation enterprises, and it would be a privilege to partner with them in their journey of creating these businesses and creating legacies. Let me close with this thought that this report is not merely like I said, a ranking for us, but it is a reflection, a mirror of growing confidence of India in its ideas, in its execution capabilities, and its sustainable long-term growth, right? And like we say at IDFC FIRST Private Banking, the best is yet to come, and that is exactly what we feel with regards to India's new age entrepreneurial ecosystem. The best is yet to come. We will keep getting better and bigger from here on as we go along. Thank you.